One question I get asked a hell of a lot as a fitness professional, and if I got a pound for every time I got this question, I'd probably make more money by answering this question than I would as a personal trainer, is what can I do to lose belly fat, specifically belly fat, right? What's the best exercise? What's the best nutrition hack? Um, so let's talk about what you need to do to lose belly fat. Now, let's address the most important issue when it comes to losing body fat. And that is, in order to lose body fat, the key thing that you need to do is to be in a calorie deficit over a sustained period of time. In other words, you must be creating more output than the input that you're putting into your body. So if you are consuming more calories or a maintenance amount of calories on a regular basis, you're probably not going to see the fat loss that you're looking for. So the most important thing when you are trying to lose body fat or belly fat is you must be in a calorie deficit over time. That doesn't mean a calorie deficit Monday to Friday and then on the weekend you blow it by eating 3 pizzas, 4 burgers and having 3 pints of whatever you drink. That's just going to undo that calorie deficit over time. It's a calorie deficit over time to facilitate the fat loss. So once you've got your calorie deficit in play, what do you need to do to lose the belly fat? Well, the second thing that I'm going to share with you is probably the thing that you don't want to hear. There isn't one specific exercise or a specific exercise or a specific nutrition program that you can do to target the belly fat, specifically that area within your body. So it's kind of like that analogy. If you have a bucket and a swimming pool and you're trying to sort of like take the water out of one part of the swimming pool and you put the bucket in the swimming pool and try to get the water out of that one part, you're not going to just reduce the water from that one part. It's going to level down. And that's pretty much the same with your body fat. You can't just specifically target one area and expect that one area to lose the body fat. That being said, certain areas of your body will lose fat quicker than other areas. So you might have noticed when you start to be on a calorie deficit or start to follow a training program that you start to see the biggest changes in your arms and your face first. And one of the reasons for that is the fat cells, the makeup of the fat cells in those particular areas have more of a certain receptor type that facilitates fat loss. Now, the problem is belly fat, thigh fat, love handles, the stubborn fat areas. The reason why they're stubborn is they have more alpha receptors than beta receptors. And these alpha receptors are very stubborn. They limit the amount of blood flow that can be sent to the fat cells, which makes it harder for those fat cells to burn. So what happens is you'll have a loss of fat in certain areas, but you'll still see a certain area accumulating the fat. And that's usually that lower belly area, like I said, the love handles, the thighs, those stubborn fat areas, which can be incredibly frustrating. I understand. So what can you do about that? Well, the most important thing is patience, because like I said, it'll go eventually through a calorie deficit over time. Now, there are certain things that can potentially help you. There are certain supplements that you can take. I'm not going to mention supplements because technically they are not available in the UK over the counter. They are seen as supplements that the government don't want you to be taking, so we won't mention those supplements. But one of them begins with a Y, and it's a very, very potent way of losing stubborn fat. The other options you can do are to do some HIIT training. So high intensity training can stimulate the blood flow to those areas. However, there's a double-edged sword here. We don't want to always think training, because the problem with belly fat is it's very sensitive to cortisol. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone. So if you have elevated levels of stress in the body, then you're going to have elevated levels of cortisol. Now, cortisol has been shown to facilitate fat storage, particularly in the area that you're trying to lose, i.e. the belly fat area, the abdomen. Now, if you're fully stressed out all the time, or if you're, eating foods that cause inflammation, or you're constantly drinking caffeinated beverages, or you're taking loads of pre-workouts and those kind of supplements, your cortisol levels are going to be constantly elevated. If your sleep is shit, then your cortisol levels are not going to regulate properly, and that's going to help. Well, not going to help you. It's going to make you struggle to lose that belly fat. It's going to cause the belly fat to accumulate fat. So it's difficult to just lose belly fat through training and overtraining and HIIT training if you're constantly stressed out. So it's a balancing act. So realistically, training is probably not the key focus when it comes to losing belly fat. Okay, training is really important, but if you think like most people do, what's the best exercise? How many crunches should I be doing? Should I be doing this exercise or that exercise to lose belly fat? You're probably going down the wrong path. The right path you need to go down is, exercise and train. Really important things to do. But what do we do from a nutritional perspective? What's my recovery like? What's my stress management like? And how effective is my sleep? Those are key things that I would be focusing on when trying to lose belly fat. Train as hard as you can recover. That doesn't mean train every day of the week. Absolutely not. Loads of stress-inducing training, like tons and tons of cardio, loads of HIIT training sessions, especially those HIIT training sessions that are done late at night, which affect your quality of your sleep. Those kind of things, limit them. Strength training is probably the best place to go, and a little bit of high-intensity interval training interspersed with that. Focus on your recovery, focus on your sleep, focus on stress management, limit the amount of stress you have in your life, limit the amount of stressful conditions you can put internally in your body through poor nutrition, through poor gut health, through reliance on too much caffeine. Those things can all affect the way you lose belly fat. And then once you have all of these put in place and you've got good sleep in place, you will then start to gradually see the belly fat shift. So unfortunately, there is no magic pill, there's no magic cure to losing the belly fat or targeting the belly fat. There are certain supplements that, like I said, you can take. Just if you're curious, research them. But ultimately, it is a patience game. So hopefully this video has given you some insight on what you need to do to lose belly fat. I'm sure it's not the answer to the question you've been looking for. Nobody wants to be told that all you need is patience and there's no actual magic way to get rid of it. But unfortunately, them's the breaks. Now, if you want more information or you want some help to achieve your optimal version of you through health and fitness, give us a shout, give me a shout, leave a comment below this video. More than happy to help you and see if we're a good fit and have a conversation how we can move forward. Otherwise, have a great day. Take care.